And that's the end of the first half. As the teams head to the locker room, the Spartans lead the Bulldogs by a score.
You guys stink.
Geez, Coach, we're only down a couple of points.
No, I mean you guys really smell. You need to hit the showers. And here, I got every one of you new bars of soap from the Sterling Soap Company. Each bar is artisan crafted using natural ingredients and essential oils. They also have shave soaps, colognes, beard balm, and a whole lot more. Now get in there.
But Coach, we have another half to play.
I don't care. I can't stand to be around you.
A few minutes later.
All right, bring it in tight. You guys are still playing terrible, but you're smelling great out there. Now listen, you're going to need to stock up for the rest of the season. We got a lot of tough games left. So go to sterlingsoap.com after the game. That's STIRLING soap.com. You got that?
Yes, Coach.
Great. Sterlingsoap.com on 3. 1, 2, 3. Sterlingsoap.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
This is a Historically Speaking Sports Podcast Bulletin. This is Dana Augusta reporting. I may already know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask anyway. Could there be such a thing as too much of a good thing? Now, when I was a teenager beginning in 1985, the NCAA men's basketball tournament expanded to 64 teams, which became the much debated beginning of the era we call March Madness, a time of year when people fill out brackets determining who will win the college basketball national championship. Now, people would call in sick and cancel appointments to stay home to watch the opening rounds of the NCAA basketball tournament, and I have done that myself. And maybe along the way, hoping to see a major upset in the first round. Now, hoping against hope to see a major conference juggernaut lose to a small directional school that no one had heard of before that day. And we've all witnessed it from time and time again for more than 40 NCAA basketball tournaments. Yet, that may be about to change. Starting with the 2026-27 season next year, the NCAA Men's Division I men's and women's basketball tournament will be expanding from 68 to 76 teams. This change introduces a 12-game opening round to replace the previous 4-game first four, with the expansion designed to increase revenue by roughly $50 million annually. Not surprising, it's a money thing. The 2027 NCAA tournament next March will feature in place of the first four in Dayton. It will now become a 12-game opening round played over 2 days, the Tuesday and Wednesday before the tournament. The field grows by 8 teams from 64 to 72 teams, including 12 automatic qualifiers and 12 at-large teams likely playing in these opening games. Following the opening round, 64 teams will remain, and the traditional first, second round regionals and final four will remain in its place. So you may be asking, what is the purpose of all of this? Besides money, the move aims to increase revenue, of course, through additional games and corporate sponsorship, while providing more opportunities for teams specifically benefiting low major and HBCU conferences. This is the first expansion for men's tournaments since 2011, when it grew from 65 to 68 teams. Now, going back when the NCAA tournament started in 1939, the NCAA tournament consisted of only 8 teams, with each team selected from a geographical district. Multiple conferences were considered part of each district, such as the Missouri Valley and the Big Seven conferences in one district, and the Southern and Southeastern conferences in another, which often led to problematic scenarios of top-ranked teams being left out of the tournament. The issue came to a head in 1950 when the NCAA suggested that third-ranked Kentucky and fifth-ranked NC State compete in a playoff game for a bid, but Kentucky refused it, believing they should be given a bid as a higher-ranked team. In response to that, the NCAA doubled the field from 16 in 1951, adding 2 additional districts and 6 spots for at-large teams. Conferences could still only have 1 team in the tournament, but multiple conferences from the same geographic district could now be included through at-large bids. This development helped the NCAA compete with the National Invitation Tournament, better known as the NIT, for prestige. With the expansion to 16 teams, the tournament retained the original format of the national semifinals being the regional finals in 1951. For the 1952 tournament, there were 4 regions named the East 1, East 2, West 1, and West 2, all played at separate sites. The regional champs met for the national semifinals and championship at separate location for a week later, establishing the format with 2 final rounds of the tournament, although the name Final Four would not be used in branding until the late 1980s. The 1953 tournament expanded to include 22 teams and added a 5th round, with 10 teams receiving a bye to the regional semifinals. The number of teams would fluctuate from 22 to 25 teams over the next 2 decades, but the number of rounds remained the same. That would change in the early 1970s. 2 major changes occurred. First, the NCAA added a rule in 1971 that banned teams who declined an invitation to the NCAA tournament from participating in other postseason tournaments. This was in response to 8th-ranked Marquette declining its invitation in 1970 and instead participating in and winning the NIT after Coach Al McGuire complained about their regional placement. Since then, the NCAA tournament has clearly been the major tournament, with conference champions and the majority of top-ranked teams participating. Secondly, and most importantly, the NCAA allowed multiple teams per conference starting in 1975. This was in response to several highly ranked teams being denied bids in the early 70s. These included South Carolina in 1970, which was undefeated in ACC play but lost in the conference tournament. The following year, second-ranked USC, which was left out because their conference was represented by top-ranked UCLA, and the most egregious, Maryland in 1974. The Terrapins was ranked number 3 nationally, but lost the AC Tournament Championship game to eventual national champ North Carolina State, therefore being left completely out of the tournament. To accommodate at-large bids, the tournament expanded in 1975 to include 32 teams, allowing a second team to represent a conference in addition to the conference champion and eliminated byes. By 1979, the tournament expanded to 40 teams and added a 6th round. 24 teams received byes to the second round. 8 more teams were added in 1980, with only 16 teams receiving byes, and the restriction on the number of at-large bids from a conference was removed. By 83, a 7th round with 4 play-in games were added. An additional play-in game was added in 1984. Seeding also began during this era, adding drama and ensuring better teams had better paths to the Final Four. Then in 1985, the tournament expanded to 64 teams, eliminating all byes and play-ins. For the first time, all teams had to win 6 games to win the tournament. This expansion led to increased media coverage and popularity in American culture. Beginning in 2001, the field was expanded again from 64 to 65 teams, adding to the tournament what was formerly known as the play-in game. This was in response to the creation of the Mountain West Conference in 1999. Originally, the winner of the Mountain West Conference tournament did not receive an automatic bid due to standard NCAA rules regarding new conferences and automatic bids. As an alternative to eliminating an at-large bid, the NCAA expanded the tournament once again to 65 teams. The 64 and 65 teams were seeded in a regional bracket of 16 seeds, and then played the opening round of the Tuesday preceding the first weekend of the tournament. This game was always played at the University of Dayton. Now the tournament has increased to 72 teams, with now 12 opening round games. So, I ask again, is there too much of a good thing? I'll leave that for you to answer. This is Dana Augusta reporting.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com. Hey there, sports history fan. This is Arnie Chapman, aka the Football History Dude, and I hope that you enjoyed this recent episode presented by the Sports History Network and were able to learn some good old-fashioned sports history knowledge nuggets. I started the Sports History Network back in 2020 with the mission to help podcasters find a community of like-minded sports history nerds, as well as helping aspiring podcasters to start their own shows. We have a little bit over 30 shows on the network right now covering all sorts of sports history, but as far as I'm concerned, we're just at the toothpick in the ocean moment, that can't even figure it out because there's so much more coming. We wanted to create the ultimate headquarters for sports yesteryear, starting with Podcast Network and our website, but we're going to continue to move into other mediums as well. And here's the cool part, because we want you to be part of our team. So if you're interested in starting your own podcast, or maybe being a guest on one of our shows, or who knows, maybe even writing an article for us over on the website. Seriously, all you gotta do is reach out to us on the contact page over at sportshistorynetwork.com. You can be as technologically savvy as a Neanderthal tapping on a stone trying to figure out this whole hieroglyphics thing back in the day. Again, it doesn't matter, because even if you don't understand the whole podcast space, we have a production team that can pretty much help you out with doing everything. All you gotta do, head over to sportshistorynetwork.com, head to the contact page, fill it out. That message goes right to me, and I'll reach out to you as soon as I can. But for now, dude, I'm through if you're through.